Hey guys, it's MomoSeventh, and today I have a different video for you than usual. Before I get into it, I would really quickly like to take the time to apologize for taking a bit of extra time with this upload. I've just been working on a really big project of a video that I hope to upload soon. With that being said, the topic of today's video is a ranked mode in Dead by Daylight, and how it would greatly benefit the game and solve many of the issues it is currently facing. Now, before you run to the comments to say DBD isn't a competitive game, all I ask is that you hear me out beforehand. Firstly, I should probably explain what my concept of a ranked mode would be so that there are no misconceptions. My idea of a ranked mode would include a 5v5, where you can solo queue as survivor or solo queue as killer. You may also choose to play in a stack if you want, and then the matchmaking would try to put you against other stacks. I should mention that either way, you will have a built-in game VC for those that are solo queuing and don't have access to Discord. This way, you can communicate with your teammates in the game without having to share personal information or personal social media networks like Discord. When you do find a match, you would have a randomized pool of maps, let's say 7, has to be an odd number. Your team and their team take turns banning maps until there is one remaining. Following this, you will then have a randomized pool of killers, and just like before, you will ban until there is one remaining. The map and killer will then become the set for this match. Following this, both teams will play simultaneously, where the killer of Team A plays with the survivors of Team B, and the killer of Team B plays with the survivors of Team A. Just like in DBD tournaments, the primary win condition will be the team that popped the most gens, then followed by the team with the most hooks, and then if both of those are tied, it would go to how many fresh hooks. A fresh hook is how many individual unique survivors have been hooked, up to 4. Whichever team wins will gain elo, and you will gain elo depending on a number of factors that determine your performance in the match. Whichever team loses will also lose elo, and you will lose less elo if you did perform well. If the match was a tie, then no one loses or gains anything. So now that we understand my idea for ranked mode, why should DBD have a ranked mode? Well, there are a few huge reasons why. Let's get into the first one, Playerbase Divide. It is no secret that there is a huge gap in the player base, and there has been one since almost the very beginning. Some players prefer to play more casually and not worry too much about the game, while others want to have challenging matches where they feel they are trying their best. This doesn't work out in a single queue. The result is casual players who feel they cannot have fun because they're running into so many sweats, and sweatier players who feel like they aren't being challenged enough. A ranked game mode would create a better environment for both types of players to play the game how they want to play it. Now, I know what you're thinking. What is stopping these sweaty players from playing in the casual mode? Well, you could say this about any game with a ranked mode. Sure, there will be people that decide they want to ruin the experience of casual players, but this would not be a big issue. If you think about it, these people, such as myself, are technically already ruining the experience of casual players within the casual game mode, which is currently the only one. A ranked mode would move most of these players out of the casual queue and into the ranked queue. The next reason is it would provide a big incentive to play the game. Currently, there is absolutely no reason to grind to get better, as you will have nothing to show off. Allow me to maybe explain with a personal example. For a year or so, I played Valorant, an FPS game developed by Riot. I grinded during this year to get better and showed off my improvements with my rank, bragging to my friends, always wanting to learn more so I can continue climbing. I like Valorant, but there is absolutely no way I would have put as many hours or as much money into it as I did if it were not for the satisfaction of climbing the ranks. I don't see how DBD would be any different for a vast majority of people. I feel as if many people are competitive in nature, and when there's no system in place to reward improvements in the game, people don't feel any urge to keep playing DBD. The only thing to grind for in this game is P100 and leaderboard downs, which, let's be real here, are both indications of pure grind more so than actual skill. Another reason is Winstreak Culture. Let's be honest with ourselves here. Win streaks only exist in DBD because this matchmaking is so garbage, and people only do them because there's no other way to show off skill in the game. Streamers need to find a way to set themselves apart from others, so people go on these win streaks spanning multiple hundreds or even thousands of games, and if they can even make a single mistake or have a bad game versus a decent team, all the time they put into their streak goes down the drain. This is an unhealthy way of challenging yourself, but unfortunately, DBD does not give you any other way to do so. Win streaks are also unhealthy because most games are just dunking on players who don't have much of a clue what is going on. Imagine a world where instead of win streaks, people grinding to be at the top of the leaderboards for different killers in a ranked game mode. It would be significantly more healthy and also way cooler. The final reason is balance. DBD has always been a nightmare to balance due to its asymmetrical nature. However, my vision of a ranked mode would include a 5v5. As I mentioned before, this means that even if the game is unbalanced for a weak killer, such as, let's say, Doctor, Both killers will have to deal with this problem, and it is up to the survivors to see who can make the least mistakes and give the least amount of hook stages. I believe this would bridge the gap between the strong and weak killers in the game, like mentioned in Darva's recent video, because you would be making the game artificially symmetrical. An argument that people like to give against the ranked mode is the fact that separate queues would increase the queue time too much. This is clearly not the case, as DBD has done multiple events which have separated the queues, which include limited time modes like Chaos Shuffle and 2v8, as well as the anniversary events. Over time, there is no doubt in my mind that ranked mode would increase the player base either way. Besides, would you rather get an instant matchup that you know is going to be a mismatch, or wait a bit for a challenging match for both sides that has some sort of stakes? Maybe it's your rank up game. The year is 2025. A ranked mode is absolutely needed for a multiplayer game to grow and thrive, and I believe this is what DBD has been missing. I hope you have enjoyed this video, and I would love to start a discussion with you all in the comments whether you agree or disagree. Have a lovely day. Thank you so much for watching.